Okay folks, we're up to the next phase of what I want to do here in the bathroom, and that is deal with my sink and vanity. Now I've just placed them here to get an idea. I want to look about how they're going to fit on the wall here where I'm putting them. And then of course there'll be a medicine cabinet over there, but I want to get a look before, kind of a dry fit if you want to call it that, before I do anything else. One thing I already had to deal with, and that is the fact that this floor slopes. So since I wanted the vanity to sit level, what I ended up having to do here, if you look carefully down here, you can see I put a piece of 1x trim lumber underneath there. It's 3/4 of an inch in thickness, and I cut it so that it wouldn't stick out at all from the vanity, of course. And that works fine. That has now leveled up the vanity so that I don't have to worry about anything with it not being level. This is typical in an old farmhouse. Nothing's level, nothing's plumb, nothing's square. You just do the best you can to make it look good. It's not going to be perfect, and really you wouldn't want it to be perfect. It wouldn't be an old farmhouse. Now what I'm going to do here is kind of backwards from normal construction. If this was a new home and I was building it, I would do all my rough plumbing first, certainly before installing the appliances, the fixtures. And in fact, in a new home, they would rough plumb in the stud walls before you even put the drywall on, so that it's easy to get to, and then they would stub everything off or cap everything off until the finish plumbing phase happened after the drywall was on, and so on. But given my circumstance here with the remodel and how I'm going to do this with bringing my pipe, my supply line and my waistline up into the closet and then through the wall, it makes more sense for me to position this first, actually put the faucet connected on with its supply lines hanging down, and that'll show me about where I need to drill the holes through the wall to bring the supplies into it. That I think is easier than going the other way, that normally you'd have a standard height and so on where you'd put them and then you adapt your fixture accordingly. But I think this will be easier if I do it this way. The same thing with the drain line. I will put the drain assembly that came with this faucet, you can see is in this bag. That I'll put into place, and then it will take a P-trap. That's what's in this bag, as you can see there. A P-trap is the one that you need to go back through the wall as opposed to straight down through the floor. If I was making my connection straight down through the floor, I would use an S-trap, and that won't work with this particular faucet and sink and vanity. At least it doesn't work real well just because it's so narrow. The design here is to have the basin stick out well beyond the end of the vanity cabinet. A typical square vanity, the countertop, the sink top would be almost flush with it, and that gives you more width to work with. So it's easier for me to just run it back in using the P-trap back in through the wall and then down from there. And but what I need to do is put the drain in and see exactly where that's going to hook up. Actually dry fit the P-trap in place and then mark the wall, and that'll show me where I need to drill my hole through the wall. I should be clear as far as studs go. If you can see, here is a drywall screw. The studs in this wall are here and then here. So they're not on center, which would be a problem because obviously my faucet and my vanity are centered on the wall pretty closely. And if I'm going to drill holes back through there, they might be in the way. But I think I'm clear. I think it's off to the side enough that I can get the holes back through without having to work around a stud. So that'll make it a whole lot easier. So that's going to be the next step. I'll pull all this back apart and start assembling the faucet and the drain. And the easiest way to do that, of course, is to just take it right off the vanity cabinet, work on the floor with it, so that you have easier access. If you've ever had to crawl under a sink to try to connect up or change out a faucet, you know what a pain it can be. There's no space. You need specialty wrenches, possibly a basin wrench, and it's just no fun at all. So I try to, if I can, do all the assembly, or as much of the assembly as I can for the faucet and the drain before setting it in place. I try to do the same thing with the kitchen sink. If that's possible to do, then you just set the whole assembly in place, and then you just have minimal connections. When I have that all in place where it's to go, all I have to do is hook the other end of the supply lines up to the shutoff valves, the two of them, and then just connect up the P-trap to the drain pipe. So it makes it a whole lot easier if you do all that work without having to crawl underneath the sink to do so. So that's going to be my plan, and we'll take you through it step at a time. See you soon.